Would you respond or react to not getting the job you wanted? Would you respond or react to your lover misunderstanding your text? Well, we're going to share with you two situations in this episode where we're going to want to see, what would you do? Would you respond or would you react? Now let's see what responding versus reacting looks like in a relationship. So welcome to Respond versus React. It's Oren Webb, also known as the EI guy.
And I'm Jenna, the EI girl.
That's new information.
Today.
She's starting that today. The EI girl. I love that. This is my fun wife. She's been with me along the journey of practicing emotional intelligence and really learning how to respond to difficult situations in life as opposed to reacting.
So this is episode 1, season 1 of our new series, Respond or React, which is something we often talk about on our TikTok series, High EQ, Low EQ skits.
Yep.
And we're really excited to come on here and review some of our most popular skits that we've made and really dive into the importance of responding versus reacting and just get to be ourselves versus the characters that we do in our skits.
That's right.
I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah, we're going to dive in. So situation number 1. What we're going to do is we're actually going to play the skit that we recorded several months ago, maybe even a year at this point.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to see the situation. And we're going to watch it. You're going to watch it. We're going to pull it up here on the camera. And then we're going to have you kind of understand and really process this situation and see what a reaction looks like. Jenna, tell us a little bit about this first situation, though. Give us the background.
So in this skit, the main character has interviewed for a job. They're getting that call back, and they are finding out that they did not get the job. And in the low EQ reaction, he doesn't respond so well.
Right.
He's very upset and starts that negative self-talk.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of us can relate to in these moments.
Exactly. Now let's check it out. So we're going to play it, and you're going to see it as well. Here's an example of what low emotional intelligence sounds like. Who is this? Hello?
Hi, is this Oren?
Yeah, this is Oren.
Hey Oren, I was just calling to let you know I wanted to say thanks for interviewing the other day, but unfortunately we're going with another candidate.
In this moment, he can respond or react. Here's what a reaction sounds like. Okay, all right, thank you, appreciate it. God damn, I knew I fucked up that interview, man. I'm never gonna get a job. React less and respond more with the EI. Get a job. Wow. So Jenna, what's your take on this reaction?
Yeah, it's hard to watch because I feel like we've all been there where we were really excited about a new opportunity and unfortunately we don't get it. And I know for me, it's really easy for me to start that cycle of self-doubt and, worrying that it's never going to work out the way that I want it to, right? But so when I watch it, I just feel like I can really relate to this character. Yeah.
I'm in a similar boat. I mean, I think the self-doubt and the kind of the negative self-talk that Jenna was saying is so prominent. And there's a reason why. I believe on TikTok, this video got almost 1 million views. And it's like a 40-second video. And millions of people, watched it and had a reaction to it because they were like, well, I think one guy commented and said, well, what does a response look like? Well, buddy, you're going to see. You're going to see what a response looks like.
I feel like our TikToks, this series has gotten really popular because people can oftentimes see themselves in the low EQ reactions. And people like to see, what could you do instead or try to do next time to improve your emotional intelligence.
Yeah. And that's what this is all about. So now we're going to pivot to the response. So here we go. Here's an example of what a high EQ response looks like. Example of what it sounds like to apply emotional intelligence. Who is this? Hello?
Hi, is this Oren?
Yeah, this is Oren.
Hey Oren, I was just calling to let you know I wanted to say thanks for interviewing the other day, but unfortunately we're going with another candidate.
Okay, notice the self-talk. In this moment, he can respond or react. And here's what an emotionally intelligent response sounds like. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you letting me know. Man, I know it's a numbers game, I'm going to keep trying. I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm qualified, and a job is going to land in my shoes one of these days. Jenna, what do you think about this response here?
So it's funny because we just went on Friday to go see Inside Out 2.
We did. We even have the poster here.
It's a wonderful movie. We really enjoyed it. And I can't help but put all of our emotional reactions into the lens of the movie and the characters. But the scene where Riley, the main character, has the sense of self and she's saying things to herself like, I'm not good enough or I'm a good person. I think that's really highlighted here in what he's choosing to say to himself after getting some disappointing news. This time he's saying things like, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I just have to keep trying basically, and I will get a job one day. And that's true. I'm sure this is a make-believe character, but we're all going to get rejections in life, whether it's a job or a romantic partner, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you just have to keep going and have faith that it's all going to work out because you have the skills. You have to tell yourself that.
To me, this was a high emotional intelligence response for sure. As Jenna was saying, the sense of self appears to be pretty strong here, and it's preventing him from having negative self-talk. He's almost providing encouragement to himself. Like he's like, you know what? I can get through it. I can do it. So that was the first situation. So we want to ask you, if this happened to you, what would you do? All right. And at this moment, definitely click the subscribe button if you haven't already, if you want to see future episodes, and also drop a comment regarding this first situation. Now we're going to go into situation number 2, which relates to having your text misunderstood by your lover. Okay, so we're going to pull up this next situation here. This is very, very relatable. So we're going to watch this. Here's an example of what low emotional intelligence looks like. Let me check and see what time we're supposed to meet up for dinner. What time are we meeting up for dinner?
We said 7.
7 p.m. is fine.
7 p.m. is fine. We don't have to go if you don't want to.
You don't have to go if you don't want to. Now, in this moment, he can respond or react. Here's what a low emotional intelligence reaction looks like. Okay, so she's going to act childish, then I got to let her know, okay? I asked you a simple question. We can call this off now. React.
It's going to be hard to come back from that.
It's going to be hard. Jenna, talk to us about that. What is going on with this reaction here?
Yeah, text is interesting because you're missing a lot of key pieces of communication, such as tonality, body language, etc. And so our minds can kind of interpret the words however we choose, maybe depending on our moods, we can kind of project onto what the other person means. And so in this talk, she's interpreting the word fine in a negative context when he didn't really mean it that way.
Yeah.
So.
And how often does that happen? How often does that happen via text? Like you said, lack of tonality. And, part of what we often hear in the comment section of these skits are like, well, they triggered me. Right?
Yeah,
they were low EQ first. That's life. You're going to run into situations where they're going to make you uncomfortable. And in this situation, he reacted by, one, he was talking about her being childish, and he then took that attitude into the text. And now it sounds like this date is done so.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, these skits we watched today are older skits. And so I don't even remember how he reacts, how he responds in the high response skit.
Yeah.
So I am curious to see what he does.
Let's dive into that one. So the high EQ response to your lover misunderstanding your text. Let's check it out. Here's an example of what high emotional intelligence looks like. Let me check and see what time we're supposed to meet up for dinner. What time are we meeting up for dinner?
We said 7.
7 p.m. is fine.
7 p.m. is fine. got it. You don't have to go if you don't want to.
You don't have to go if you don't want to. Now, in this moment, he can respond or react. Here is what a high emotional intelligence response looks like. All right, I think there's a misunderstanding here, so let me give her a call real quick. Hey, just want to talk to you real quick about the dinner plans.
Definitely.
That guy's high EQ.
Yeah. This is cool to look back and watch these because, like I said, I forgot that what he was going to do. So I love the making a call just to clear the air. But like I said, I wanted to come back to the point where she said, "Is he mad at me?" And then she reacts based off that assumption. And I think something that she could have done is genuinely ask, like, you know, how are you feeling, maybe, right? I mean, what do you think? Like, she could have asked, do you still want to go? Like, everything okay?
Yeah, well, I think definitely in this skit, she appeared to be, something was going on with her.
Yeah.
Body budget's low.
Yeah.
Maybe something else was bothering her, poor night's sleep,
Mm-hmm.
right? But for her to immediately misinterpret, right? But the real key there is, though, it's not even about the other person.
Yeah.
It's about how you are responding, how you choose, really, to respond or react to someone else. And his response, because he clearly recognized, wait a minute.
Like, what happened?
Right. Things just kind of escalated.
Yeah.
And I'm now reading her tonality, her vibe through this message. And I got to cut through the noise and get directly to the conversation. I need to speak to her. I need to talk to her on the phone.
And get things back on track so they can enjoy their date and have a good night together.
Right. So number one, he acknowledges the misinterpretation, as it says on the reel, and then second, he establishes direct communication. Texting is delayed communication, right? Yeah. I could be like, "Hey, how was your day?" 6 hours later, you're like, "It was good." That's delayed communication. Phone call is direct, immediate communication. Okay. So that kind of brings us to some of our key takeaways from these two skits. Number one, when it comes to not getting the job, it can be hard to respond to something not going your way. And let's be honest, you actually getting a job or getting the job is in part outside of your control. You don't know all of the variables that are going into that interview or the outcome of the interviews. You can just only control yourself and bring your best self to the situation. And by, I think, taking on that perspective, you then ultimately make a choice to engage in positive self-talk, right? Because now you're like, you know what? That's outside my control. I'm not stupid, right? I just did my best, and I'll continue to forget the rest. That was silly. Okay. And then, Jenna, talk to us about the practical takeaway from the last skit on misinterpreting the text.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is if you're experiencing miscommunication over text, just pick up the phone, call, be direct, and I think that's going to
That's right.
smooth things over quickly.
Yeah. So, yeah, being direct is the really practical takeaway here. If you ever notice some misinterpretation of information, call that person directly, establish a direct line of communication, and express yourself fully. Right?
Yeah.
And lastly, as we wrap up this first episode, we hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that you learned something. We want you to share if you found this breakdown of our respond versus react, skits helpful to you, right? What will you apply this week, this month? And let us know in the comments. Remember to subscribe, and thanks for checking out Respond versus React. Remember to what? What's our tagline?
React less and respond more.
She asked that like a quiz. It was like a quiz. There we go, y'all. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.